Turning our attention now to Paris, where 5 additional suspects are now in custody, arrested in connection with that daring heist at the Louvre that stunned the world earlier this month. Authorities say one of the suspects is believed to be part of the 4-person gang that carried out the brazen daylight theft in the museum's Apollo Gallery. 2 other suspects, of course, had been taken into custody over the weekend. Despite the arrest, the stolen jewels, worth over $100 million, have yet to be recovered. CNN's Melissa Bell is following all the developments for us from Paris. So, Melissa, what more do we know about these 5 arrests and the suspects?
Well, as you say, we do understand that one of these latest 5 arrested is one of those who was here on that day. Of course, those 2 that had been arrested over the weekend, also part of that 4-man team, have now been placed under formal investigation. This was yesterday evening when we heard from the prosecutor a bit more about the investigation, a bit more about them. These 2 had been known to police. It was DNA samples that had matched them to the scene of the crime. This latest arrest of one of those 4 also tied to the scene of the crime, we understand, by DNA. As to the other 4 arrests that have been made since yesterday, we understand that these are people who are not there necessarily that Sunday morning, but may have elements that can help this investigation move forward. But certainly a sense here in Paris that 11 days, Erica, after this manhunt began, there are big developments, and they are really zooming in now on those who may have been responsible for this, to try and figure out how big the team was, how it had been planned, who was involved. For now, though, as you say, no sign of the jewels, and this was confirmed by the prosecutor yesterday evening. And of course, that is really what French authorities are hoping to get their hands on, hopefully before they've been dismantled and sold and are still intact. But of course, with every day that passes, the hopes of that happening appear to diminish. So we wait to hear more. For now, they're not giving that much away, simply because this is an ongoing investigation and they don't know, Erica, whether there are other people that they need to speak to. But it will have taken them 11 days to get their hands on 7 suspects. Progress being made, but a lot of questions that still remain. And for the time being, the rest, you can see the Louvre Museum is open behind me. It's a sunny day here in Paris. The rest of the crown jewels, we understand, have been moved out of the Louvre for safekeeping and placed at the Banque de France's central bank until better security arrangements can be made here at the Louvre.
It is really something. Really quickly, Melissa, before I let you go, as you mentioned, there are still a number of questions when it comes to this investigation. Some of those questions are about security measures. Do we know if there's been any change in security measures at the Louvre, even in terms of the cameras, which seem to be fairly lacking based on what we've learned?
Certainly we had heard that it was the cameras on the other side of the Apollo Gallery, so on the Seine side of the Louvre, that simply hadn't had a view on that balcony through which they entered. So a lot of questions, a lot of soul searching here in France from authorities. We've heard the director of the Louvre was speaking to a Senate committee saying that they were urgently looking at security, not just here at the Louvre, but at other French museums. And there's a debate going on about the guards. You know, the guards here are trained to get the people out of the museum, as we discovered on that Sunday morning. One of the questions is whether they shouldn't have full-time police actually based here all the time, who would be armed and able to intervene. So a lot of questions about how they secure their prisons, but of course that's going to take some time to put in place, Erica.
Yeah, absolutely. Melissa, appreciate it. Thank you.
Joining us now is Christopher Marinello, a lawyer and the founder of Art Recovery International, an organization specialized in finding and recovering stolen and looted works of art. Hi, Christopher. First off, what is your reaction to the latest arrest? As far as we knew, they were looking for 2 more, and now they've arrested 5.
Well, it's very encouraging that the police are continuing to investigate this matter furiously. They understand that there's a race against time to recover the jewels before they have a chance to be broken up by the thieves with the thieves' associates.
The Paris prosecutor says it doesn't appear at this point to be an inside job. Does that surprise you?
Well, most museum thefts do tend to have some sort of inside connection. But, you know, if you look at what took place here with the daylight robbery, the tools that they brought, there really was no need for an insider, if you ask me.
Well, and you know, look, the jewels are still outstanding, right? There's been no sign that the stolen jewels worth more than $100 million have been found. What are the odds of any of these pieces being recovered intact?
Well, that's the $100 million question. You know, it's very encouraging that we're seeing that many mistakes were made. We initially thought that this was the heist of the century perfectly planned. But now we're seeing that these criminals made a lot of mistakes. They left their DNA, they left their tools, they got caught at the airport. They're giving up the names of their associates. So it is possible that they did not have a way in place to unload these stolen jewels in advance. So that is a bit encouraging.
So you
But
have
the
some
fact
hope.
that there is a larger gang, yes, ma'am.
You have hope they could be recovered, or at least some of them.
Oh, absolutely. I do have hope, but we are up against time constraints. They could have broken them up in the first 24 hours.
All right, Christopher Marinello, thanks so much.